Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first week of the season for NJC AAE JV. This is Ben Brandreth coming to you from the William G. Rohr Center in Cherry Hill, streaming for Camden County College here today. Cougars going to be on the attack side first. We have the Valorant white team. King, WP, he's going to be our IGL. He's on that Brimstone Mangi Yoru classic. We saw that last season from him as well. Dripping Wet, that Sentinel player for the team. Pawn on the Initiator, and Apple playing Initiator as well on that Breach. Going up today against Grayson College, Bupremi Brimstone, Spacebar Fade, PogChamp on the Cypher, Chubacos Tacos on the Yoru, and our Raze player on the other side is Ku. Like I said, first map coming up here is Bind. Bind is one of the maps I was told that this Cougars team does enjoy to play. So we'll see how they do here on the attack side. Something to note, Apple subbing in today for Zaire. Zaire unable to play, so Apple is subbing in, and apparently will be helping IGL with King. And it looks like they're going to be starting with a B hit on this pistol. And as we get into the first round of the game here, we'll see how the season starts off. Mangi looking down B long. Puts out a ping, just checking for utility here. A dog coming out to clear hookah. A clone as well sent down C long. A lurk on the other side is keeping some players there on the defense, so it is a 4v2 at the moment on the site. Util comes out, but Chewbacca Taco's able to get two. Pawn and Apple trade though. And now it's a 3v3. Spike did get dropped, so now the plant has not yet come through. And they're looking towards CT. Things pause for a moment. Pawn able to find another. Spike was handed off, but Pawn goes down. Spacebar finding two of his own, and now it's just Dripping Wet. Gets a nice headshot in a 1v1. It's 38 seconds. Jumps out of the window of hookah and just unable to find that kill onto Ku. Just that jump and movement debuff coming in. Ku able to find the shots. Dripping Wet unable to know the location initially of that player, just leading to a loss of that trade. But a close pistol nonetheless. But the lead at the moment is 1-0 for Grayson and the Vikings. Second round here. Low investment on the Cougars side. Just a full save entirely. And a nice second round buy, some Spectres, some Stingers, and a Bulldog. It looks like Cougars are going to play slow here. Dripping Wet, spotting Ku, and a nade thrown out in response. No damage seemingly done from that nade. A Haunt comes out, clears a main, and Mangi just spotting another on site. The stack is here on the defense, so it looks like they might decide to switch things up here. Orb is grabbed by King, and yeah, they're going to send a rotate here, just based off of all of the information they saw of the players on site. Main thing they'll have to watch for is TPs. Ooh, and PogChamp able to find a kill onto Dripping just from that cam tag. Yoru TP came across, and Tacos got one, but Mangi able to find that trade kill. A dart reveals Mangi. He is able to TP out, and the spike is still not gone down. They're going to try and find a plant here, but now might be the retake attempt. Sees comes in, but gets broken instantly. Apple finding one with that Spectre, but ooh, in the smoke, Ku finds Apple, and Spacebar finding King. It's now just left to Mangi, and Ku is able to clean it up, but in a round where they just started only with pistols, Cougars still able to find a couple kills, get the spike down for some extra money. But 2 rounds the way of the Vikings, and we're going into our bonus round here. The Vikings are going to just have a light buy here, just sort of keep what they had left from that previous round, as you do in this third round, and a almost full investment coming out from the Cougars. Pawn not able to afford heavy armor and a rifle, so just going to get the Vandal and regen shields instead. Coup at the moment 3-0 for the Vikings is going to look to try and do some more work with that Spectre this round, just going straight into showers. Dripping Wet is here, sort of on a lurk, watching it. And 3 players on that A side. The Cypher setup on B is giving some confidence to the defense. Breach Flash coming out from Apple. He's going to grab that orb. Already over halfway to that ultimate. Some util coming out. Dog, clone. Doesn't really see much though. Smoke's now smoking off the site. Hookah currently controlled by Camden County, but they're not sure what they want to do with it. In the meantime, Dripping Wet on the other side of the map gets 2 on the lurk, and now with that A site clear, they call for the rotate. King running over with the spike. The other player's already there. Mongi finding Bupremi in heaven, and the 2 players on the rotate now are going to be coming from CT. Flash coming out, but Mongi able to find that one as well, and now it's a 5v1. The last player coming from CT. A full flash finds both players, and Taco's unable to find much there. King getting the trade after Pawn goes down, and that's a huge round win there on that third round for the Cougars, making the score 2-1 for Grayson Vikings. And even on a round where you're supposed to win, that investment is in your favor. They still did a fantastic job finding those kills. Dripping Wet, huge kills on the flank, just after those rotates came in, doing a backstab and giving the Cougars that A site for free. Same setup here on the defense, 3 on the A site, 2 on the B site, but it looks like they're going to be playing a little bit more aggressive. 2 players pushing into showers. Taco's checking the long angle. Wet finding another player in showers here. Huge kill on that side. Fake clone coming through, and a Cypher ult came out from the from the offense here. The Cougars use that, and Spacebar goes down on that A site as well. So now they feel confident to go in and plant that spike, but 2 players are on the lurk still, over towards that B site. So as Pawn goes down here, it's only there are 2 players on the actual A site to defend the spike plant. So a TP comes through and a rotate as well. And now a 4v3 post plant. They're just going to play some more distant angles. They have some utility here to try and delay this. Yoruel comes out from Tacos. He's going to run into showers and spots the first. Doesn't fully clear a second. Flash come out, and Brimult now coming out onto the spike, preventing a defuse for now. Tacos finding Dripping Wet, and then Bupremi on Apple. Tacos finding Mongi. The spike is ticking down. King. Oh, they didn't have time. The half came through early, and with just 0.22 seconds left, the defuse comes through, and it was almost a fantastic round there from the Cougars. The Molly just didn't quite delay long enough, and Tacos with, I believe, a 3K in that round, sealing that one for the defense. Once again, a really good job getting into the A site there from the Cougars, but unable to actually capitalize in the post plant. Multiple ults coming out from both sides, however, so that sort of evens things up across the board. Fade ult is going to be coming online soon for that defense, which will be important. And now Tacos is going to be looking down B long by himself here. Oh, and a stun TP almost catches him off guard, but he is able to go back to his spawn. Clone's going to catch the trip here, and they clear it. But fast flood in coming from Tacos again. He's just going to peek around the side and just get one for free, but Apple able to trade out. Rotates coming from the defense here, but Spike will be able to go down. A 4v4 and healing coming out as well to make things more even. McKing goes down, and as does Apple.
1 enemy remaining.
And as Pawn does as well, it's now just a 1v4, but I don't think that they know Dripping Wet is here, but will she be able to get the kill before the defuse comes through? And no, Coup will finish that off. I think Dripping Wet made a little bit of noise there before the shots. just because she was in a rush to try and get to that spike before it was defused. Unable to do so, but that was a light buy for them. So as they go into the 6th round here, down 4-1, they still have a good amount of the half to go, and a breach ult is online on Apple, but that fade ult is there in return from the Vikings. Same setup once again. TP sent out from Tacos back towards spawn, just like we saw last round, and is going to be checking B long by himself once more, but able to TP out, of course. Breach ult coming in instantly is going to clear lamps, as does that Yoru TP, and some util coming out from the defense, and Bupremi able to find 2 as they just both peek onto his angle. Spike not going down yet, and they're going to try and get the plant in here, but I think there's going to be a fast retake attempt. And yes, 3 players swing out of lamps. Bupremi, a 3K on the round. Dripping Wet finds 1. Spacebar cleans her up, though. And that was a fairly clean defense round from the Vikings. Bupremi, once again, finding 3 from that Brimstone. Doing a great job swinging that angle out of out of lamps, and also previously out of showers. Taco's 9-5 right now, MVP for the defense. Just finding a lot of value with those Yoru TPs, allowing him, even though they are playing a 2-3 defense setup, to TP back towards his spawn if he needs to sort of help support the other side. A light buy here coming from the Cougars. Looking mostly at this B site. Yoru ult comes out and goes straight through hookah from Mongi. Just going to try and clear this B site as well as he can. And does spot 1. In the meantime, Dripping Wet finds another kill on the other side. A huge flank kill once again. And this actually affords the Cougars this B site for free. Cam broken from PogChamp, and so with the Seekers here as well, looks like PogChamp is a little bit of a rough spot. They know where he is, so they're just going to leave him at the moment while the spike goes down. Dog going to go out and try and clear PogChamp further off of this angle, but Molly comes out, and Pawn has to leave that before he dies to that damage. Flood coming back in from CT. Yoru ult from Tacos just is going to go towards the attacking side spawn, and yeah, King cleared from that just with that ult. And PogChamp finding Pawn as well. Players going down, but Mongi able to find 2 with that Bucky. Huge play from him, and now this defuse is going to be a little bit harder. Dripping Wet throwing a cage out just to try and get onto the site. Half is taken, but the damage was done. Mongi, 3K on the round. Dripping Wet cleaning it up. And that's another round for the Cougars. 5-2 the scoreline. Great round from them. Dripping Wet just finding so much value with these flank kills. Just that kill in showers really made the defense doubt where the spike was going, because that rotate had also come through in a previous round. They didn't know if the Cougars were gonna, stay on this B site or switch it up, so they couldn't really rotate quickly. And so far, that macro game is going fairly well for the Cougars. This time, looking towards the A site, going into the 3 players, but less Sentinel utility. TP sent into the TP from Mongi, and that is a fake TP into that, so they're not entirely sure if they're there, and another fake TP. So now they're really unsure on the defense where these players are, and a little bit of backing up done because of that Skydog. And Dripping Wet once again finding a kill from showers, and as Brimstone ult goes into clear lamps, a flash comes out, and Apple and King find the 2 players that were left on the A site, and now it's just the rotates coming in, but a 5v2 post plant. Huge advantage here for the Cougars. Mongi watching that heaven angle and is the first line of defense here. Gonna be the first one to swing this angle. Finds the first, kills the Yoru, and then still hits the clone. Odd choice, and King goes down there, but Apple able to find that final kill. And a almost flawless round for the Cougars. On a great play there. A lot of pressure coming out through that TP, just all fake pressure, but was enough to cause some doubt there, of course. I mean, the amount of TP sounds that came through definitely caused a little bit of unsureness, I suppose you could say. on that defense side for the Vikings. This round is going to be looking like another B look. This time, though, Tacos is going to be looking out of hookah as opposed to the long angle. Dripping it once again, sent towards that showers lurk. I believe Tacos did spot someone instantly, so just going to back up a little bit. Give hookah away for free for the most part. But there is, of course, Sentinel utility here and 2 players. Dripping Wet makes some noise in showers, so once again, they're unsure what the full deal is. Dog comes out and actually does find PogChamp. Util just sent out in droves to try and clear him, and eventually Mongi does find that. Tacos tries to clear from that elbow angle, but ends up being forced to TP back, and now it's a full retake coming from CT here. Spike not down yet, just utility was coming out to prevent that. So this is a fast retake here. Spike still not down, and King goes down to the Sheriff. This is a lighter buy for the Vikings here. The flash was great from the defense, but Mongi able to find one still. Tacos on the flank gets one. Pawn trades, but Ku trades back. And now it's a 2v1 as Wet finds Ku. And it's just a pistol here, so there is the advantage towards the Cougars. Flash sent out. Some spray. Mongi able to find the third. A huge 3K for him. Sort of cementing his spot at the top of the scoreboard here for the Cougars, just above his teammate Dripping Wet. And as 3 rounds have gone towards the attacking side here in a row, Grayson is going to be calling a timeout. Money flourishing for that attacking side as well because of those round wins. And something to note is if another round goes the way of Camden County here, that money will be quite bad again on the defense side, though the loss bonus is max at the moment. You get more money the more times you've lost in a row, just as a bonus in this game if you are unaware. And I mean, the one thing that I'm super impressed by so far is just the calling from the Cougars side here. They've noted the 3-2 setup from Grayson. They're aware of how it's being played. Dripping Wet is causing a lot of damage on this showers lurk consistently and is giving them an option to sort of switch over to that A site if they have to when they start B. And Grayson still doing fairly well, obviously getting those few rounds earlier in the half, but sort of losing some momentum here as the Cougars have sort of warmed up and are starting to hit some more shots. And it's looking like an A hit to start here. Defensive setup not switched after this timeout. We'll see if there's anything to come of it. And there are 2 ults on this defense side, so you can expect that showstopper to come out. But Ku just gets dropped instantly, so that showstopper is actually offline now. Shower smoked off, but Apple is just going to flash in and finds Brupremi. And the A site is almost entirely clear, but it looks like the TP is getting considered. A spacebar, though, able to find one in showers, and now Apple is just sort of stuck there, but two players surviving, King and Pawn, just going to take the TP over. Neural Theft comes out from PogChamp and reveals that there has been a rotate. Cam and Hookah reveals King, who sort of just abandons his teammate Pawn on the site. But it is a 1v2. Spike is planted, so he can play defuse delay, but unable to as just King goes down to Tacos. Important round win for Grayson. Ultimates coming in useful, just really just that Cypher ult actually. The other ones were unable to be used just because the kills came through before they were able to be popped. But as I mentioned before, money still good for the Cougars, able to get another full buy in this round. And actually not everyone on the Grayson side is actually able to fully invest here. Might see a little bit of a... Nope, just Ku going for that light armor instead.
Time to jump.
PogChamp not going to be giving any money over to make sure that his teammate has full armor. And same setup here, Tacos checking C, and Mongi rips the Omen ult instantly, is going towards lamps, pushes out spacebar, and sees Ku and spacebar in the back of the A site. Premi not cleared in heaven, And that flash comes out in full blinds, actually saving Mongi's life probably there. Some spam was also doing the damage. Two players sent it through the TP. Dripping Wet, unable to find that kill. King finds one, but then Taco's getting a second, sort of clears out the rest of Showers. And now, this offense sort of has a choice here. Do they want to send it through the TP? And actually they do. Mongi sent it first, Pawn follows, and Apple finds one before he goes down, unable to sort of get to his teammates. And Mongi gets the spike down, and just going to start playing towards elbow. Maybe an unexpected angle here as Pawn plays in hookah. 3 players incoming from spawn, and Tacos instantly rips that Yor ult for the retake. A nice peek from Mongi, able to find the first. Flashes, gets a nice blind there, and finds the kill, but Mongi, I don't think will expect... Oh, just the timing. Tacos, sends the TP. Can he find the third in the round? And he does. Nasty 3K, just very aware there. Lucky to get around that corner before that flash peek came out from Tacos. And even though Tacos is 15-9, Mongi 14-6 on the other side is trying to keep things even. And in the last round of this half, Cougars are going to be looking to even it up before we switch sides. Important ults still online here for both sides, and both the Fade ult and the Raze ult have been online for a few rounds here from the defense, just unable to get them off on this A site. Just not finding the time to do so. Ku likely to pop the showstopper somewhat early, I think, here, just to make sure that it gets used in this half before it goes to waste. Tacos here, an aggressive swing with a stinger into Sands, but Mongi finding the trade and the other one as well. So now a 4v3. There's 2 important ultimates still online for the defense. The Brimstone ult is available as well now on the offense, so that is probably going to be saved for the post plant. King is just going to be watching the flank. Fade ult stuck through from dripping just to make sure that the spike goes down, and actually is able to escape. The other players, Mongi sort of taking an odd angle in elbow and goes down. Pawn spotted as well. Tap comes out to sort of pull that ultimate from King. Dripping Wet finds the first. Cam tags the diffuser. PogChamp a swing, and now advantage toward Dripping Wet. Half is stuck, but is able to play time here. And it's close. Dripping Wet. Is going on the aggressive swing. And finds the kill. 3K for Dripping Wet. Maya, huge one, and winning that round for them. Time would have been low on the defense there, just if that kill didn't, it did come through from spacebar, but an amazing play. Just a little bit of a, whiffiness from both sides, but doesn't really matter as long as it came through. And Dripping Wet, massive 3K, multiple 3Ks in this game so far, and an even half is what we get after the first 12 rounds of play. And now Cougars on the defense, a slightly different looking setup to the other side. 2 trips from Dripping Wet here, little unique, and Cage as well put in hookah window. But the Yoru for this defense now, the Cougars, is going to be playing on the A side as opposed to what Grayson was doing with their own Yoru. And Grayson now on this offense as it starts is going to just ping out a pathway towards the B site. King instantly feeling confident to go grab an orb with Mongi as some backup there. And now Prowler comes out into hookah. Some dry peeks to follow it off. PogChamp able to find a nice shot onto Mongi, and that'll actually give some confidence to sort of rush into this site. Trip finds the clone, and Ku goes down actually, and Tacos as well. The Pawn goes down afterwards, spacebar, finding that. It's now a 3v3. Spike not down yet. Actually, it looks like they're just going to send it through the TP here as a response to what they assume were some rotates, and they were correct, but the rotates are coming back through somewhat quickly. King, despite being spotted first, is able to pull out the shorty and find one, and Apple finds spacebar as well. And now, it's just left down to Bupremi in Showers. Spotted, and Apple, just a nice headshot, finishing off that kill there. He's going to hand off the rest of the defuse to King just to help get that Brim ult up. And a pistol round 1 for the Cougars, giving them the lead for the first time in this game. That's a very important round win. Should get this next one as well. Mongi is going to go in for the Marshall buy. And that should be effective considering there's no armor purchased on the other side. Bulldog coming out. Oh, nope, changed his mind, went for a Sheriff instead. Sorry, Stinger instead. Sheriff is one of the purchases on that defense side, though. And now it looks like it's going to be a Showers push here from both sides, actually. We're going to see a big clash here. 5v2 from the looks of it. Mongi just going to aggressive peek with that Marshall. And a little bit of a slow peek here. Oh, and the first one peeks, and then Mongi spots the whole team. And the rest of Grayson just sort of pushes quickly through Showers. Is going to start going into sight. King playing in a smoke here. Prowler doesn't spot him. He's actually just going to decide to keep his life at the moment. Spike goes down, sees, catches the one. But still not cleared out of this corner. Dog comes through to sort of force some players back. But it is numbers in favor of Grayson, but King finds one to trade, and healing comes out. So now things are now in favor of the Cougars. A flash and some spray gets tacos, and now the two players in Showers unable to actually do anything. And Bupremi able to find one consolation kill after the spike was already defused, but doesn't mean much. Weapons, 3 weapons able to be carried through into this next round from the Cougars. And I mean, just the molly keeping those players back in Showers meant that there was nothing the defense could do. Sorry, the offense could do.
That goes there.
Similar setup again. It looks like King and Mongi are going to consistently be trying to play towards the shower angle.
Time to jump.
This time we're getting more of a default setup here on the attack side, sort of a 2-2-1 almost. 2 players just walking down C long. So B long. And PogChamp just able to find King as he sort of pushes out on his own outside of Showers. And this is a bonus round for the Cougars, so it's not the most important one in the world to win, but it would be massive if they do. Oof, Mongi spots PogChamp first, but unable to get the shot off, and just that weapon difference. So now a 3v5. Things are just going a little bit slowly here for the offense. Grayson just taking their time, checking their options, and they feel somewhat confident with the space that they've taken. Sort of going over towards this B site, but oh, TP sent, but it's actually going to be a fake. Just to sort of make that defense think. Leaving one over there, and Pawn unable to find a kill there. Means that it's just down to Dripping Wet on this site at the moment. It's going to have to do as much as she can. Does some spray damage, but isn't quite able to find anything. Now Apple, just with the Ghost, is going to start debating his options.
Spike planted.
You definitely want to go down here if you can, just for the money's sake. However, Think doesn't want to give over an ultimate orb to that attacking side of Grayson, so might just play distance, wait for time to tick down and go down to the spike, but starts peeking towards the site. Sends out the stun. Grayson continuously peeking that angle, trying to find that kill. Haunt, and lots of spray. And it looks like Grayson is just going to cut their losses here, which actually is a win. And Taco says Apple sort of pushes onto that site, able to find the kill before getting away safely. And a flawless round from the attack side of Grayson. And that'll be really nice for their bank here, not having to buy any more rifles off of that bonus round. Leaving the impetus here on the Cougars to try and win this round cleanly, to keep up a winning scoreline. Defensive setup changing here just a tiny bit. Mongi going over towards that B site to help out. Seeing what looks like a little bit of favor to that side from the attackers. And 4 players are going to push Sands towards Hookah here. Sorry, 3 players. And Mongi just takes an aggressive cross here and is actually not spotted by PogChamp, so they might think that this is clear. Oh, and they do. Mongi finds one, but Taco is able to get a nice trade off Sends a TP into the site and a clone. That cam angle, nice from Dripping Wet. Sort of spot all of that. Clone and trips catch the clone and spacebar, so spacebar goes down. But Pawn swings into an open angle. I wanted to find anything. Dripping Wet tags one with the cam, and actually, eventually King gets it. But Dripping Wet goes down. Taco's on 3 on the round. It looks like they're gonna play this Brimstone ult to deny, to deny plant. And this was red. So Taco's just backs up. And now that I think with 50 seconds on the clock, they're thinking about a TP play here. And they absolutely are doing so. They TP over towards that A site. And because of that Yoru, there's obviously the potential of a fake, and there's also potential of a lurk, so you have to play a little bit slow. Yoru comes out, and actually this Aftershock might find Bupremi here, and it does. The spike does go down, but now it's just a 1v2. Taco's forced to leave that ultimate to try and actually make a play here on the spike, and has to check if that's being stuck. Apple finds the kill. And the round win goes towards the Cougars. It's now 9-7. In favor of the Cougars.
Just swapping in the fusion cells. Okay.
Good round attempt from Grayson there, getting, you know, into that B site, not cleanly. Definitely lost some numbers on that exec. Trips really nice from Dripping Wet. And some, you know, some spray and some reveals gave an advantage to the defense, though trades did come out. And that TP play definitely gave the potential for them, but that Aftershock really turning it into a 2v1 made the difference. And once again, Grayson looking towards this B site. There is a lurk, and Mangi trying to make a flash play into B long. Doesn't peek aggressively.
Decoy.
Sends a fake TP, and then TP's back over to the A site. And Pawn in hookah here gets caught, but is actually able to get a flash and cross, and they might not know this. And it seems like they do. Pawn actually able to get out, but immediately jumps in the crosshair of Tacos. But Mangi able to find the lurk on the other side.
My camera is destroyed.
Camera destroyed just before a tag comes through. Now it's a 4v4, but 2 players from the Cougars are not quite there yet. Spike knocked down. So there's potential, but Bupremi, as the smokes fade, finds 2, and Tacos finds the other as well. And now it's just Apple on a flank, but nonetheless in a 4v1. Let's see what he can do here. Oh, Baku is already sort of looking at this angle. Apple does get the spray down, but it leaves him on 10 health here, and now this 3v1 is almost impossible. Yeah, and he's going to decide to save. Good attempt from the Cougars, but that exec went pretty well for Grayson. These smokes going away and leaving Bupremi with some nice shots onto the defensive players just sealed that one. And it looks like they're actually hunting for that last player, as well as just sort of getting out of that spike explosion range. But Apple, safe and sound, carries the rifle into the next round, and there is enough money for the most part to buy here. 9-8 is the score in favor of the Camden County Cougars. Grayson Vikings only 1 round behind, though. And this time, call is going to be slightly different, looking towards this A site, and actually, Mangi is here to sort of give them that number advantage on this defense. Stun comes out. Actually, I think catches Tacos and pushes them off the angle, and now they're sort of, Mangi and Apple are holding an aggressive angle here in showers. Mangi feels confident enough to get the orb with that hold, and Mangi able to find one, so it gets an orb in another way, but in the meantime, Apple does go down, sort of holding for him. He sends that TP, though, and now is back in spawn, but no fast play is pushed off of that, so really no space gained for Grayson. And they're just looking 3 players towards A main here, maybe waiting for a peek or some sort of aggressive play. Mangi trying to watch that as best as he can from heaven.
I know exactly where you are.
And just to sort of confirm what they want, the Cypher ult comes out from PogChamp. But Mangi and King each finding one here, and now it's a 4v2.
30 seconds left.
Spike tapped, Mangi pushes forwards and finds spacebar, and King finding Ku and Lamps. Cleans up another round, giving the Cougars 10. And Mangi here at the top of that scoreboard for the Cougars is really making all of the difference here. Just some great sight holds, TPing to where he's needed. And, you know, playing off of contact with his teammates and hitting those shots is really important when you're doing that, and he is. 21 kills right now. Not the top in the server, but is sort of making the most impact. And once again, King and Mangi looking towards showers, but there's no one there this time. All 5 players on Grayson looking towards the B site. They're just going a little slow, just sort of contacting their entire way up.
Camera taken
Cam's
out.
broken, but it does spot at least one. And Dog's going to come out and sort of clear here. Shot right away, so it could only be Tacos here. They're not entirely sure. But in the meantime, 2 players go into hookah. And Pawn is actually caught by that Brimstone ult from Bupremi.
Careful now.
Dripping Wet takes some severe damage from a nade, and now it's a 5v3. And Mangi here is just going to rip the ult, as does Apple. And those stuns are massive. PogChamp able to find Mangi, but it evens things up a little bit. And now it's a 2v2. Apple and King versus Ku and PogChamp. Yeah, Apple spots just the slightest bit of an elbow and finds PogChamp with some spam. 3k at the moment. Hookah gonna be smoked off, and Spike never went down, and it's actually dropped on site. So Ku has to make a play for this here if he wants to try and win this one. Otherwise, he has 20 seconds to decide whether or not he wants to save. Playing slow, it looks like he's gonna be waiting for that smoke to dissipate. Yeah, and does, and just is gonna slowly push out onto site. Has a ghost only, and King cleaning that up. But Apple, 3k on the round. Huge impact. And that puts Cougars at 11 over Grayson at 8. Second timeout coming from the Vikings here. And once again, after a couple round wins in a row for the Cougars, perhaps their coach seeing something that they don't overly like with the play calling, or perhaps some sort of, you know, team interplay. And I mean, at the same time, this does give an opportunity for the Cougars coach to talk to their own players, so we'll see what comes out of this. But I mean, defensive setups are looking good, so I could only expect some sort of change coming from the attackers here. I think the one round that they had a lot of success was when they played slow. They sort of can expect the Cougars to sort of swing out into them, so we might see something like that happening again after this timeout, but that will remain to be seen. 11-8 is that score. Cougars over the Vikings at the moment. Still a few rounds left to go in this half. 2 rounds from closing it out if you're the Cougars. 3 rounds from closing that gap if you're the Vikings.
That goes there. This goes
And
here.
first thing we're seeing here is looking like
This is a nice spot.
some trips watching the flank and a look towards A from Grayson. TP sent into showers. And actually, Cougars not playing aggressively into there this time. Ping sort of coming out, telling teammates to watch that angle. And now it's fairly obvious that there's some pressure in showers here. Mangi sending a TP just to allow himself to get out here. If he's unable to find a kill, sees that TP, and actually Fade Ult comes out. Hits the clone and actually has to TP away before he can get anything. Bupremi finds King. Another flash working on site. Apple silenced from that Fade ultimate goes down as well. Oh, but Mangi able to find one. Bupremi going down. Nade not able to find any damage. Another pretty good flash. Mangi does some spam damage to spacebar. In the meantime, Pawn trying to push out from spawn, and actually a flank coming through. Pawn finding spacebar through that box. Now it's a 3v3. Ray's ultimate is online, and actually we might see Dripping Wet here. Oh no, Dripping Wet goes down to Ku before any sort of value can be found on that flank. But Mangi finds Ku and actually now is getting half on the defuse. Pawn finds Tacos and another, as Mangi is just able to stick that spike. Pawn with a 3k in the round. Another one on the board for the Cougars. There's been almost like 6 or 7 this game. Extremely impressive. Mangi finally now securing that spot at the top of the scoreboard with 24 kills, 13 deaths, almost a 2.0 KD. Absolutely massive from him. And there was some, you know, investment in that round. Fade ultimate was popped. Cypherall actually got saved from the defense. They felt confident enough in that, you know, disadvantaged retake. And actually did find it. So Cougars now at map point, 12-8. Flash coming through on B long. Pawn preventing a cam and any sort of aggressive play there. Some spam is coming through. Dripping Wet actually is on a pistol here. Either forgot to buy, didn't have time, or just didn't have the money, and is actually just playing the fact that they know they have multiple rounds to close this out. Mangi finds the first. Seekers popped, and actually multiple tagged here. Spam doesn't find anything, but all 3 players spotted towards the TP, and now actually the defense is just going to be already prepping for this. 2 players in showers as they swing quickly. The smoke is there. Tacos sending a TP, and I mean, it's a standoff here at the edge of a smoke. Taco swings in and finds 2. Apple able to find a trade, but massive from him there. And now it's a 2v2. Spike likely to go down here. Pawn coming from CT. Of course, though, you have Dripping Wet on that flank. As I've said multiple times this game. Oh, but that offensive Cypherall is going to reveal that. Spike is planted in the standard position, which is sort of, you know, giving an advantage towards those lamp players and that positioning. So, gonna need to see some team play here. And actually, yeah, Dripping Wet and Pawn both looking towards lamps. Gonna try and clear this out from the back. And Dripping Wet swings first and Pawn tries to plays off, but Bupremi able to spray down both. Round win going the way of the Vikings. And 3 more chances here for the Cougars to close things out before we go into overtime. 12-9 is that score.
Yes, this should do.
Full buy coming in from the defense, but if they lose this round, they won't be able to buy in the next, so that is important here. It would probably give Grayson 11 rounds total if that happens, so they want to avoid that here, try and close things out with these rifles. And as the round starts, once again, a little bit of a slow play
Decoy.
on B long, but players contacting into hookah. Dripping Wet in that cam is gonna spot 2
Wow, my eyes are dull.
coming from long, and actually Trips again finding value. Bupremi finding Dripping Wet though, and nothing actually able to be done off of that util. Bupremi finding Mangi as well. Defensive Brim ult coming out, but doesn't find anything, and so this is a heavy investment from the defense. Bupremi finding 3, and King finding a lurk that was left in spawn, but the players sent it through the TP already. It's a 2v4. Oh man.
Planted.
Apple is really unsure here what to do. Just gonna start going on the flank here. Was just looking for any players that would sort of be lurking back through that attacking spawn as opposed to sending it through the TP. King here is gonna try and swing into lamps himself. Gets the first, but yeah, spacebar able to play off that trade. And now we'll see here if Apple decides to go for this or save. 3v1 Spike is already taking kind of low. And I think, yeah, it's just going to try and play exits here, Apple. 3 ultimate orbs away from that ultimate, so wants to try and find something, but no, they're just going to send it through the TP. Apple not going to have the opportunity. That's another round win for Grayson, and now things are getting kind of close. Cougars at 12 and have been for a few rounds now. But 2 in a row going the way of Grayson means that it's going to be An odd buy on the side of Cougars. While on the other side, a perfectly good one coming out from the attackers. One thing that I would like to see from Koo is the pop of that showstopper is sort of had it in his pocket for a while. Same thing happened on the defense, so you obviously would want to see him get some value out of that instead of holding it.
This should do.
But maybe just hasn't found a time that he thought was opportune to use it.
Handle this.
Mangi is just going to rip the ultimate, clear out as much space as possible. Actually ends up in sands here, and it's just going to support
I'm back.
this B site. Has the opportunity to TP out as well. Trip finding the clone. Broken, and yeah, players sending it through the TP. And actually, Mangi's TP expired in the meantime, so they're all going to have to walk back themselves. King is going to do the job of clearing all of that attacking space himself. Oh, an Apple. A couple of missed shots there, but able to find a kill on Koo. So Koo once again not able to use that ultimate, but Spacebar finds Apple and actually gets that Fate ultimate up. So we'll see if that gets popped this round. 4v4 in the retake. Ultimate advantage definitely on the side of the attackers, Brimstone and Fatal. Tacos finds King. Spacebar finds Dripping Wet Mangi. Able to find one, but goes down after a nice flash from Tacos, and now it's just Pawn. 1v3. See here if get a tap off. No, PogChamp able to find Pawn. I mean, if a tap was able to come out, we probably would have seen that ultimate ripped, so actually valuable for Bupremi to save that going into this last round of regulation. This is the final chance for Cougars to end things without having to go into extras. Mangi slowing down just a tiny bit, unable to find a lot of value in these last few rounds. Getting shut down, and I mean, ultimate advantage definitely in favor of Grayson here. So, and especially after finding, you know, a lot of value from this B site hits and playing the TP, Grayson's gonna play there again. Oh, and Bupremi instantly finding Apple on a peak. It actually might have been spam through smokes. Clone, and then a flash coming out. King unable to find everything. PogChamp, Bupremi, and Tacos all find one of their own. Dripping Wet sending it through the TP, but it's a 1v5. And it looks like we're going to overtime, folks, on map 1 of Bind. Hoof, Fate ultimate ripped. And that'll tag, so they'll know that found Dripping Wet. There's not much that she can do right now. Spike still hadn't gone down, so it gives her a little bit of opportunity to play, but in a 5v1, Flash comes out, gets the first piece of util. Dripping Wet does find PogChamp, and actually Ray's ult popped. And that's the value that Koo was looking for, finally able to make use of it in that last round of the half. And that's 12-12, folks. We're going into overtime. Tacos and Bupremi both picking things back up at the end of the half there to win 4 in a row to bring things to extras. And this puts Grayson back on the defense. Ultimates wiped from the table. It's now just going to be down to pure gunplay and calling. We'll see what Apple and King have come up with on this round. Looks like they're looking towards B, sort of favoring that two-person setup, even though it has the Cypher. And of course, Dripping Wet looking to play a little bit of a lurk because she has found so much value on that. Spacebar actually looking to peek into showers here. Prowler isn't going to spot anything, so backs off that angle a tiny bit. Dog coming in through hookah. Ducks the trip, but calls it out. And spots one there. So it actually forces out a TP, and now players on the defense have backed up here. Everyone being in CT, so site gonna be almost for free, but a flash and a clone coming out through that smoke. Just a little bit of pressure, denying that Spike plant for a tiny bit. Then Spike actually was behind a little bit, so King still hasn't gotten this down. That's allowed for rotates here, so actually a fake TP noise makes players a little bit worried. But it was actually just Dripping Wet coming through to help support the team. Spike planted. Apple finds the first. It's Tacos in the corner and actually finds another as well. So now all three players coming out of the main CT exit. King finding the first. And 5v2 advantage. And actually, those kills have given King that Brimstone ultimate. So really could just play for that now. And yeah, it looks like they're just going to back up a little bit and try to play for that ultimate. Even just dripping wet in a hookah angle. Oh, and as Mongi finds Ku, it's now just Bupremi. He's going to have a rough time here with the spike already ticking low. And that Brim ultimate coming out. Yeah, this is going to secure the round, and Pawn actually finding that kill before it even mattered. But that defuse was never going to come through. And a big round win for the Cougars to give them advantage and match point once again as they go into the defensive half of overtime. We'll see here if Grayson Vikings can push it to another set of rounds, or if the Cougars can finish out this map. They've already had a chance to do so before in this one.
Oh, this is a nice spot. Yalla, Mshina.
And actually, what we're seeing here from the attacking side of Grayson is that they're looking towards this A site, which is a little odd considering the immense value that they found on this B site consistently. But actually, from the looks of it, Apple's actually going over towards that B site. I think sort of expecting that kind of play, and a TP was also sent over there from Mongi, of course, to be able to, you know, go and help his team. So, Mongi finding spacebar immediately. Actually, that drops the spike. So they sort of know that that wasn't just a lurk, that the spike was over on that side. As Mongi gets back sort of, you know, onto a heaven angle. Oh, finds Tacos with a nice headshot. And now King finding Ku, leaving Lamped as well. It's now a 5v2. Massive advantage on the side of Cougars. It would have to be an outstanding play from Bupremi and PogChamp to try and make something of this one. Mongi, though, is just going to flash into showers and finds the final two, getting a 4K to finish out the map, winning 14-12 on binds. And Mongi absolutely the MVP of that map. I believe getting over 30 kills at the end of that one. Just, you know, dropping a 30 bomb is always impressive. Yeah, 32 and 18. 7 first bloods as well. Really, really impactful there. And a 352 ACS. It's extremely high. Just finding a lot of value. Playing aggressive, using those TPs to help on that defense, support the weaker side. And that was our first map of Bind. After this, we're going to be having Haven, so stay tuned. We'll be back after this break. Welcome back to NJCAAE Week 1 of the JV season. This is Ben Brandreth coming to you from the William G. Rohr Center in Cherry Hill. Of course, streaming for Camden County College. We're going into Haven here. Cougars able to win map 1 over Grayson on bind. And now we are going into Haven where, once again, Camden County College Cougars are starting on that attack side. Notably, King on that favored Agent of Omen. Just plays Brimstone on bind, just sort of as a standard of the game, even in the highest levels. That is something that you do see somewhat often. Haven is one of the favored maps of this Cougar White team, so looking for another win here to close the series out 2-0. Spacebar this time is actually on Sova instead of Fade, which is definitely a standard on this map as well. Fade is a little bit rarer, but that is what we're seeing from the Cougars here. And it's going to be starting with a C hit. Cypher utility, not enough to just sort of delay everything. Tacos finds Dripping Wet on a little bit of a lurk through mid, but King finds the first. And so now it's a 4v4 retake. C Long gets smoked off by the defense. An attempted flash, but doesn't find everyone. Mangi actually finds one, but Tacos getting 3 now on the round. And all there is a smoked off pawn to try and spam with the ghost. And as the smoke fades, left looking at 3 players who all shoot at once, and pawn goes down. Tacos getting 3 on the round, and a spike defuse is now already halfway towards that ultimate. And that's a pistol round win for Grayson. So far, the defensive side has won the pistol every time, so we'll see if that continues as well in this map into that second half. And of course, the second round is almost always going to have no buy from the losing team, and the sort of best buy that you can get from that winning side. And so Cougars, with their pistols, are just going to be looking for whatever they can get. Mangi here, looking in towards garage, and actually is clearing it slightly. Doesn't quite yet see Tacos, who's just sort of hiding in the corner. Trip's broken, and actually Mangi caught on the way out there. So now 5v4. Some spray and some movement sort of happening towards mid. Some eyeballs towards B. King still watching that garage area.
Where are you?
And it looks like we're going into a C hit here. Some utility sent out. Smoke. A TP from King actually gets him past a trip, but pawn goes down. He enters, and actually King goes down as well. So now, despite the spike going down, it is a 5v2. A dart comes out and actually pushes Apple into an angle. Dripping Wet finds one, but gets shock darted down. And that's a, fairly comfortable second round win, anti-eco for the Vikings. And now going into the third round, we're going to see a bye coming out for the bonus. But fairly, safe round there from the Vikings, and actually they're carrying in 3 Bulldogs and a Guardian here, so some decent value weapons, able to potentially have some good impact here against the those pure rifles. One thing you often see on this map of Haven is just that solo Cypher on C, using trips and cam to sort of hold that on your lonesome, but having that Yoru does help. Makes it, a little bit more comfortable. You sort of have a backup plan just in case. A TP sent into the backside actually finds PogChamp off guard. Taco's unable to do much and is sort of just left in garage. Upremi looking towards garage as well, but just going to be playing a little bit slow. And it looked like for a second Tacos was going to be, looking towards a flank, but decides to go and fight with the team instead. Pawn finds Ku immediately. Taco's able to find Mangi, but a trade comes out. And so now, ooh, has an odd sort of peek there. Some damage done to both sides back in CT. But still 4v2. Paranoia catches 2, actually. But not actually able to swing off of it. Spacebar gets 2 Apple, though, gets 2 of his own, and that cleans up the round. It is a little bit expensive for the Cougars. Actually, you know, only 2 players surviving. But for the most part, everyone should be able to buy here with some level of weaponry and utility. But it does put, you know, the advantage ever so slightly in the favor of the Grayson Vikings. Taco's very, very strong so far this map, 5-1 already. Though, you know, many of those kills, 3 of them, coming in that first pistol round. Still, though, almost at that ultimate. An attacker side look towards A this time. Sovadart comes out. It's an odd one. It has a bounce and it sort of just lobs ever so slightly into lobby there. Smoke and TP sent deep into the A site. Heaven smoked off, and actually there's just a ever so slight lurk into it from Spacebar. But oof, as Mangi goes down, King finds the 2 that were sort of anchoring that site.
Not ready yet.
Ku is up in Heaven, and now that it's not smoked, they're gonna have to look for it. We'll see if King spots a gun barrel though, and she drops off the angle right before Ku peeks and finds Dripping Wet. So now 3v3.
Bring them down.
Prowler sent out and shot immediately. Tacos finds Pawn. King actually has the Omen ultimate. Oh, and just... Oh, it sticks it, and it's just spotted by Ku right before he's able to get his gun out. And Tacos finds Apple to clean it up. Third round going the way of the Vikings. After this defuse comes through from PogChamp. And so now, the Yoru ultimate online. Economy broken for the attackers, unfortunately. Meaning that it's going to have to be an eco round against full rifles. Yeah, and despite the fact that some players do have the money to buy, they are just going to go for sort of a mixed buy here, mostly a save. A hero rifle from Dripping Wet is what we're going to see.
This goes
And
here.
it's a sort of a, you know, B look
Yes,
towards
this is
Garage.
That goes there. This goes
Notably,
here.
you do have that Fate ultimate online for the Cougars, so we'll see if that comes out in this round. Oh, but immediately Pawn drops, so never mind. It's not going to be able to in this round. Mangi finds a trade, and so now B site is almost entirely clear. Actually, that hands a gun over to Apple, so that could be impactful. Mangi's trying to do some sheriff spam. Doesn't connect, but sort of, you know, gives a little bit of fear into the hearts of the Vikings here. PogChamp finds King. Flash forces Mangi to TP out, but now they're just able to sort of play distance. And Neural Theft, though, coming out from PogChamp, it reveals the rest of the team, so Apple goes down in his corner. Mangi finds a spam through the wall, and Taco's PogChamp now. Finding Mangi, and now it's just Dripping Wet to try and get the rest of these players down. Spacebar stuck it to half, and then Dripping Wet had to swing there to try and prevent that defuse, unable to as she faces into 3. And that's the 4th round going the way of the Vikings. 4-1 is that score. However, similar scenes to last map. This is exactly what that other scoreline started at, and it still ended up a 6-6 half. So we'll see here as the Cougars go into another full buy round what they can do against this somewhat strong defense that we've been seeing so far. Only Cypher ult used from the Vikings in that one, so still 3 ultimates available now. And that Yoru ult and Sova ult combo can be very strong. You have that Yoru sort of ping out where those players are. Sova just shoots them from a distance. Fade ultimate held here, and Breach ult ripped instead, actually. And C-site is clear, but there's going to be a somewhat fast retake, I think. So we're looking at 4 players, actually all 5 players already nearby. Pawn finds a spam into the smoke, and Yoru ult and Sova ult do both come out. But actually not finding much value, and actually those other players just unable to do anything. And in response, that attacking Cypher ult comes out. It gives enough information that both players are CT. And Apple holding that angle finds a nice kill onto Tacos. Now just one left, spacebar, forced to either peek out of the smoke. Oh, and the barrel spotted. It just backs up. It's going to decide to save here. Not much else he can do in this round. And a strong attacking win here from the Cougars, giving them the second round of the half. And notably, you know, not losing too many players. So once again, we'll have good money. And it absolutely is looking like similar scenes to that first map of Bind. Heavy ultimate investment from both sides. But really, I think Cougars winning out there, that Sova ult and Yoru ult combo, I mean, like I noted, is very powerful, and it's actually found no value at all. As the other players, you know, trying to play off of it, just got, you know, mowed down as they tried to enter that site on the retake. So Fade and Yoru ult still available for the Cougars, and just an Omen ult for the defense. You know, I mean, there's value there, but not a lot. And actually, Paranoia comes out, but unable to affect Mongi in that ultimate. Spots one, oh, but doesn't check the quick angle, actually goes down to spacebar, who's rotating quickly. Haunt found one, and they do some spray damage, but that's all that it is. And actually, spray damage was sent that other way as well. Apple, you know, lower than half health. Coup, a smoke onto the angle, forces out a cage from Dripping Wet. He's able to get a cam up, but angle's blocked by her own cage and actually can't do much there. So now things slowly sort of moving here. Two players with the spike looking towards the A site. And Dart scanning. Dripping Wet finds one on a flank, and actually this will sort of keep those two defensive players looking towards that B site just ever so slightly. Oh, and Apple whiffy a little bit, but finds a nice kill on the flank as the rotate starts to come through. Tacos finds one, but it's just down to him in a 1v3. Paranoia, oh, held, but not ripped in time. Actually, he finds two, and now it's Tacos in a 3v1. Taps the defuse, oh, and just holds the angle. Just reading what Apple would do and finds the 4K. What a play from Tacos. A massive clutch, 4K on the round. Impressive play from him. An 11-3 so far in this map. Huge impact. And I mean, if you look at this timeline here, every single round, the Cougars have been able to get that spike down, but diffuses have been consistent for the most part. And now, once again, sort of a mixed buy coming out from Camden County. And they're just going to be looking to do a 3-1-1 at the start of this round. Dart sent in from B. Tacos looking to make an aggressive play out of Garage here. Oh, and finds Dripping Wet, but King is able to trade. And actually, that's a big one because that is that really impact player of Tacos this round. And Fatal clears out the C site. Now it's a 4v4 retake, and a weapon upgrade was found. So now it's fairly even. And Tacos even had that ult. Umangi finding Coup. That's a big one. The one thing you'll have to watch out for is that flank. Bupremi, yeah, finds Apple first, but yeah, things are getting played somewhat slowly. Drone going over top. It's unclear if that actually spotted Mangi in that spot. Bupremi now in Garage actually finds King, but Pawn shoots down spacebar with the Sheriff, and Mangi finds that last kill to clean up the round, and another round win going the way of Cougars, putting it at 5-3. A very back and forth game so far. I mean, from the look of it, the win condition for this Cougars side right now is to shut down Tacos. Without him online, there's just so much more that they can do. They don't have to worry about nearly as many things. And actually here, even with that Yoru ultimate, Tacos is actually going to just buy a Sheriff from the looks of it and play a little bit differently. And the C site is almost entirely free. It actually looks like there's going to be an aggressive play out of B. Yeah, than there is. And two players watching for it here. King, oh, Cam comes out, checks it, so timing might be bad. King finds Coup, a flash from Tacos, does find Dripping Wet, and he gets that gun upgrade, so that could be not great if they're unable to find that kill. Actually, and a TP coming out. King able to save his life, but here's rotates, holding an angle. Oh, this could really come down to King as Spike is down and, you know, the site's held, but King here in an important fight. Oh no, takes damage. 1 bullet left in the gun. Yeah, unable to do anything. Pawn, though, goes to help out his teammate. Does a lot of damage. I mean, realistically, health overall is equal, but player numbers in the favor of the Vikings. Your ultimate comes out. Mangi forced into an odd spot, but actually does a great job there to clear it, and half unable to be gotten. Bupremi at 3 in the round, but there's no time on the spike. Bupremi, even though getting a 4K in the round, falls at the end to the spike as the round goes towards Camden County. I mean, huge value from Bupremi that we haven't necessarily been seeing. Just does a good job there in mid and, you know, on that flank, finding the kills, but just Cougars delayed long enough. The Yoru ult not able to make enough space in time from Tacos, and now 5v4. And yeah, Grayson looking to call their timeout. Once again, just almost exact mirror to what we saw last map. 5-4. Timeout being called after a couple round wins in a row for the Cougars. And I'm not necessarily sure what else you could change at the moment. I mean, that Cypher setup we can already see is looking like it's going to be on that A site. I mean, a trip's already been placed. Obviously, that can be recalled, but only 10 seconds left before the round actually starts once this timeout's over. So not really time for the Cypher to switch over to C. It actually looks like Tacos might be the one in charge of holding that site. A little flag ping put out on Garage from the defense in this timeout here. So that might mean that they're looking towards that as an important area to play around. I think that actually might be where we see Tacos end up this round as things get started in 10 more seconds. But the site hits from the Cougars have been fairly good. It's actually the post plants that I think have been the inconsistent part of their game in this map. I mean, losing multiple of those, and obviously, I mean, those spike defusal stats quite good for Grayson. Actually, the call gets changed from the attacking side of the Cougars after this timeout, and actually they're going to start looking towards A, but they're sending 2 down C, and obviously a TP, though, able to help out. Bupremi forced the TP away, sort of avoid that aftershock. And now, so this sort of leaves a lurk towards the C site as the other 4 stomp their way in towards A, but there is resistance here. Trip finds 2, but Spray from Pawn gets Q, and Apple found on the flank, and the Yoru TP to come help. So Tacos is going to be there, but Bupremi did have to check C site just for any other players, so, you know, it's a little bit late on this retake. Some time is ticked off that clock. TP sent in, and actually we'll see if this gets stuck here. It certainly could. Ooh, a dart comes out and reveals King, who gets cleared from heaven. PogChamp dropping from there and finds the other in hell. And Mangi caught in the corner. Bupremi finding that one. Pawn left in a 1v3. Sends out the haunts, but PogChamp 3k in this round for him. And that gives the Vikings 6, Cougars 4. And great shots from PogChamp here. Definitely in a bit of a, not necessarily an improvement, but just a standout round from that, you know, sort of more standard 1 kill or an assist per round sort of average we've been seeing. Does a great job dropping from heaven there to able, you know, recollect the crosshair, find that kill in hell pretty quickly. And that definitely, you know, is an important spot to clear if you're going to be playing on that site. And actually, this time it looks like maybe the setup is different. There wasn't time for PogChamp to change that setup last time, but actually places a trip in Garage this time, and then moves over towards B with the cam. And it looks like a good idea, because as we see the Cougars looking towards the B site. Dart comes out, doesn't spot anything on the A site, and actually allows a lurk to come through there. But it's actually just a pistol round, you know, forced to eco the Cougars. So it's not much they can do. Dripping Wet caught on the A site. And the 4 players of the Cougars that are still alive pull out, despite, though, King is sort of sitting outside this garage door. The other 3 players slowly moving towards this A site. Mangi in sewers now is just gonna slowly shift walk his way with the spike. It is just the one there, so if they can find that kill, it would be an opportunity. Actually, yeah, Mangi finds a headshot, spacebar, and King tries to take the opportunity to swing into garage, but doesn't find it. Mongi, though, takes a TP at a bad time. Ku finds him. Stinger does some good damage, but Ku finds that one onto Pawn as well, so now just a 1v4. Not a great weapon from Apple, just the shorty. Smoke comes out. Might be able to grab a Stinger here. Nope, not going to. Oh, and just spray, finding Apple before he's able to swing out to get the defuser. And 7-4 now for the Vikings. More rounds on the defense half this time than they got on Bind, so an improvement there. And this is the last round of the half. Bai obviously able to come out here from the Cougars after that save round, so even things here. 4 ults on both sides, and actually it's very likely that Dripping Wet will get hers in this round as well, so the only ult we probably won't be seeing this round is the Taco's ult, so unless, you know, of course, he gets a 4K once again, so we'll see. It actually looks like we're going to get your ult ripped right away from Mongi. Yeah, does. Just rips it and sends it right into the site. Breach ult comes out, clears the rest of the site. Probably could have saved that just in case to see, you know, after Mongi cleared the site, to see if they needed to do that. They could have saved that for the, you know, retake. But either way, Orb was gotten by Dripping Wet, so that all comes out, and they know where these players are, so Dripping Wet sitting here in garage actually might be able to find Ku. Yeah, it does. Spacebar, though. Rips the ult. Actually, I think gets maybe one tag, but not able to find much else. And Tacos, despite getting 2, does go down. And a round win once again for the Cougars, putting it at a 7-5 half, almost even as we switch into the defense. But I mean, if you look at the scoreboard here, you can tell the main difference. Tacos absolutely dominating, 17 kills. I mean, and it's not necessarily a bad thing that the Cougars have less kills overall, but it definitely, you know, shows that Tacos is that win condition for the Vikings. I mean, if he's not on line, then things are not going very well for them. So we'll see here going into the switch of sides how the Vikings can do on their attack. And it looks like they're looking towards the A site here, and it's a 5-player stack really on the other side because you see Mongi with that TP, so looking like it might be a free plant for the most part. Just Mongi pushing up aggressive on A long. See if he can find anything. And actually, he's definitely going to get a fight here. Oh, he misses first shot and isn't able to TP out in time. King smoking off both of the main angles, but it seems like the Vikings know that they can just disrespect those. Spike gonna go down. King swings with help from Pawn and actually finds Bupremi, but they need to find Tacos in hell here. They don't. Pawn goes down. Apple finds one and actually finds another. King, the third, and now it's just PogChamp who's on a little bit of a flank, and they might be able to just stick this defuse here. Apple gets half. They hear the running, and King finds the third. Apple was there to go and trade off of his teammate. And once again, we're seeing the trend of defense teams winning on that pistol. 6-7. Still in favor of the Vikings, but with this next round likely going the way of the Cougars, we could see another even game just a little bit after halftime. Mongi going towards that Marshall. We know he does like to buy those rifles, or those, you know, those more sniper rifle type weapons on rounds like this. Just take the opportunity to fight at long range when he can, especially against lower shields. But a B look from the offense. Ku just has the dash here, like really low buy. Just, you know, just, I don't actually think anything was purchased. So it's just going to run into the site with just a little bit of util. But they overwhelm Pawn on the site. So Spike going down almost for free. Apple finding PogChamp on a little bit of a lurk. But 4 players now in the B site. And they're just going to try and sit here and overwhelm anyone who tries to come in and retake. 2 of the defenders coming from actually that attacking side. Paranoia comes out, but Dripping Wet caught first. Mongi finds one on the swing in. King finds one as well, but it's a 1v2, and Apple has already taken some damage. It actually looks like this might be an eco round win for the Vikings, and it absolutely is. Tacos picks up Mongi's Marshall and finds Apple, and that's a really important round win for the Vikings, and a almost devastating loss for the Cougars. I mean, that round puts the Cougars back on a light buy for this one. unable to purchase, and this gives a fairly strong advantage here towards the Vikings. I mean, they're gonna almost certainly be able to win this one, but I said that in the previous round, and it went the other way, so we'll see. But Tacos, once again, I mean, getting 3 on that round, showing his importance to the Viking side. Grayson reliant on some of his play. And it's an attacking rush straight down C. There are players here to receive, and a haunt is quite good, and actually it gives the advantage towards the Cougars. 2 players going down immediately. Bupremi able to find one, and actually PogChamp finding Pawn as well. Dripping Wet finding a trade, but it's a 2v2. Mongi on the flank with the Sheriff, and actually could he spot the spike planter? Not quite in time. Bupremi sprays him down with the Phantom, and it's just a ghost on King. Position unknown, but the weaponry not strong here. Oh, and King finds the one, but is just not sure where Bupremi is, and Bupremi, a 4K for him. An expensive round for Grayson, but they're still able to buy here either way just because of that win bonus, and despite it being close with the pistols, not quite enough. Cougars here down 6-9, but up a map. Mongi here looking to play A with the help of King. Oh, and just is immediately shut down by Tacos. And that's a really impactful kill. And this gives so much, you know, motivation and belief towards the attacking side that they can just take this site. Another good haunt actually just finds the clone, but delays things for a moment. And it is a 4v4. And actually, the smokes are down for the attack, so now things are going to be a little bit more difficult in terms of getting into the site. They might require, rely on PogChamp's cages, but he goes down too. So now, a 4v3, and this offense is a little stuck. They're not necessarily sure where to go. The Pawn does a jump peek and actually spots one, so this A-hold successful, despite Mongi going down early, and so now they're just going to pull a rotate. Ku almost walks into a tripping garage, but breaks it just before. And Apple hears the footsteps here. Actually calls for the TP from his teammate. Your ult, though. Just going to cause some damage to be done to Apple. And yeah, just gets caught from spacebar. Swinging the angle. And Dripping Wet. And actually gets caught, too, on top of garage. And so now a 2v3. Your ult potential for the post plant. Really whiffy from Ku, actually, and Pawn's able to find a kill, but does take a lot of damage. So now it's a 2v2. Haunt coming out. Tacos jumps up and just shuts down King and finds Pawn as well for a 3K. I've been saying that all night. Tacos finding 3 in a round. 25 kills already. Just 16 rounds in. Just absolutely massive from him. Over 2.0 KD. Close to a 3. (10-6) for the Vikings. Cougars once again forced to do a little bit of a low buy. Mongi gonna peek A with the Sheriff. Dart comes out, does shoot it, but
Cover going up.
that is noted by the offense, and they're not gonna really play into that. Sewers being watched by 2, and just slow play from the Vikings looking towards the B site and garage. Spike is currently outside of B, but sort of tending in the direction of the C site, as are most of the team members of the Vikings. Trip broken in garage, noise made, and rotates will begin, but once again, lower weapons. We'll see what can be done. Paranoia clears out the back angle. Mongi caught, and despite breaking the clone, yeah, unable to do much. Pawn does find one, but numbers already strongly in favor of the Vikings. Grayson at a large advantage. Tacos caught. Pawn there, peeking out of garage, and so now just King on a flank, but just the Sheriff would have to make an absolutely ridiculous play to clean this one up. And I mean, it's being watched. Does TP. But it's a multi-face. Taco's once again a 3K. (11-6), and we'll see the first timeout coming from the coach of Camden County. And I've spoken with Coach Zach before, and I know he has some, really nice set plans for this team. And I think, there's a couple slight adjustments they could make on this defense. I mean, just based off of what I've been seeing, I mean, usually you get a Cypher set up on C just from most teams, but obviously we're seeing that sort of switch with Mongi, and aggressive play isn't necessarily working. I think they honestly might find a little bit more success by sort of waiting for the teams to come into them, and they're also not really having the opportunity to play retake much. I mean, that's a main difference we're seeing on this defense half for the Cougars compared to the Vikings, is the Vikings playing a lot of retake and finding some decent success with it. Cougars here not really getting into fantastic retake positions. They might have more success with like a fast flood type of play style, so we'll see what the adjustment is here after this timeout. Ultimates up on both sides. We have both Cypher ults. Breach ult on the defense, a strong retake piece of utility, or, once again, could play into a fast retake to sort of prevent that spike plant. But Sova ult, Omen ult on the Grayson side, so those are host plant pieces of utility. Stun ripped right away on A, and Magi goes on that angle with Apple, but nothing found. And in the meantime, Taco's going into the C site. Spotted on cam, but it seems like the spike might go down on the C site, and almost for free, as I've been saying. But Dripping Wet finding one, and Magi another in garage, and the Cypher ult comes out. This will reveal things, and actually this will be super helpful for revealing the location of PogChamp outside of garage. The spikes goes down, and Magi TP'd into the site, but goes down to Bupremi. 3v3, but Apple finds PogChamp, so now 3v2. Hopefully, I think, if you're the Cougars, you could save that breach ult. Tacos finds Dripping Wet. Actually, and they decide to rip that breach ult. It does catch Bupremi. Yeah, and it's just down to Tacos in a 1v2. Damage done. Stunned. And flashed. Does turn it a little bit. But Apple watching that angle and quickly deals with Tacos. Getting the first round in a few for the Cougars, putting the score at 11-7. And an important and necessary round win here to get momentum back. I like what I saw there. They definitely played a little bit more quickly on the retake. They are fighting over that garage space just a little bit better than they had been, so that really does help with retakes as well. But, I mean, preventing the side of Grayson from getting that round there really is impactful, because almost all 5 ultimates are going to be ready this round, so could be considered almost a free round win. We'll see here. Stun sent immediately out on A, and utility there. Oh, it looks like they're going to just fight heavy over it. Paranoia play. Oh, and Pawn finds 2 as Apple finds another, and trades go the way of the Cougars. But Tacos is importantly the one that's still alive. The spike gets dropped. Oh, but Tacos just finds King on a walkabout. And that spike was grabbed. So now what we're going to see is 2 players just unsure of where anyone is. And this is going to be the really important spot here. Oh man, Pawn just stops watching that angle as Tacos goes by. And so now they're on the entirely wrong side. That A site's going to get cleared, but the spike is probably going to go down the other side, and there's no one to stop it. Thankfully, that setup was still there, so Dripping Wet able to spot out PogChamp with the cam. Was tagged, and actually just going to walk in and prefer getting that spike plant over anything. Oh, Fatal quickly sent. And Taco's caught with utility in hand. Down to 1 HP. And that is huge. Just any sort of sprite will get him down, and it does. Now a really strong 2v1, and Dripping Wet finding 2. Another great round win for the Cougars. Now 8-11, closing that gap. I'm super impressed with just that quick replay, or retake strategy there. Fatal coming out, just not really letting them get set up in good angles. And Cougars, you know, definitely preventing Tacos from getting more impact in these last couple of rounds, and that is obviously making a difference. But now all 5 ultimates are online, and if you let the Vikings, you know, use all of these in one round, it's almost going to be a guaranteed win. But I would doubt, just based off of what I've been seeing, that they all get used in this round. They're probably going to try and win one with just a, you know, this round with just a couple, and then save a few into the next, try and close things out. It's going to be up to the Cougars to try and prevent that. Mangi once again favoring a quick play on A long, actually forces a TP. Mangi just ever slow, slightly tucked into the corner. Pawn goes down, but Mangi able to take that opportunity to get Tacos. Flash is nice for Mangi and actually finds another. That smokes down for the attacking side. Jet Knives popped, but the other ult's not able to be used. And Mangi third and a fourth. Oh, runs out of bullets. We'll see if he can get the reload here. He actually picks up a gun, and they're going to try and get him this ace, I think. Stuck in sewers. Oh, Ku with the ghost. Finds 2 and out. This is actually dangerous. Ku has the spike. You know, decent health.
I got the spike.
And the weaponry. And the Cougars really have no idea where Ku is. Oh man, I think they really wanted to get Mangi that ace. And obviously, I mean, after that 4K, you don't blame them, but that put things in a risky spot. Dripping Wet is definitely in a great spot here. I mean, B is sort of general, and actually, yeah, Dripping Wet heard the footsteps there, heard the drop down. Ku will have to be really diligent, clearing every angle. Clears right, but not before Dripping Wet can get the kill. Now 9 rounds for the Cougars, closing that gap even further.
Will they try the same old tricks?
The Vikings still at 11. Only the Jet Knives used. Oh yeah, and it looks like we're getting a timeout here from Grayson, and I mean, I don't blame him. 3 rounds lost in a row, and 4 ultimates still not popped after all of that. And I mean, Cougars, you know, in that sort of position they're in with, you know, being down multiple rounds, have just sort of popped the ultimates as they've gotten them, and it's given them a lot of advantages. So I'm not surprised we're seeing this timeout come out, and there's absolutely some things to fix here. I mean, you can't really let Mangi keep doing what he's been doing on this A site, and the, you know, the A main peaks. So I doubt they're gonna, you know, play into that much more. I mean, and from a viewer perspective, C site still, you know, fairly weak overall in terms of the actual setup, just the cipher, and you know, you can move into that somewhat quickly, and you actually see some pings here towards sewers and link between B and C, and actually some defense pings towards A lobby. So we'll see here if anything changes,
Oh, this is a nice
or
spot.
what changes at all, if anything. And it looks like Mangi's gonna decide to just play a little bit slower on the A this time. I think sort of expecting that change. It actually looks like a B look here. Fake TP sent in. Dart, smokes. Yeah, and it's just a fast B hit. King forced the TP out, but gets caught from Tacos, who's playing aggressive, just gets the spam. And Dripping Wet here actually in a position to find multiple. Sprays down 2, does a lot of damage to a third. Mangi capitalizing as well. And it actually looked like their goal was to do a B hit into a C rotate, and it does not work. Cougars shut that down quickly and swiftly, punishing that attempt at a play. I mean, very interesting call overall. I mean, usually you don't see that kind of thing once you have that site space, sort of trying to switch into another site. And you can see again a ping here from the attacking side in that exact same spot where 4 players went down last round.
Time to jump.
But Vikings this time looking towards A, but this time Mangi's not there, so we'll see what this means for the rounds. Still of note that Yoru ult and Sova ult have not been used in about 6 rounds now. Actually, yeah, Mongi had a TP over towards this A site, so took that. Tacos, yeah, popping this Yoru ult immediately, and it is a strong stack, but Apple gonna run away to try and avoid that ult, but Ku goes down, and Mongi finds Bupremi as well, so once again, no smokes. It's gonna put a lot of pressure onto Tacos here. We'll see. Oh, and just without that smoke, yeah, Mongi able to take a peek onto A main as the players try to enter the site. Finds one. A 3v2 here, and actually that Cypher ult is up, so gonna be able to reveal the location of the attackers here if Dripping Wet can find a body. Tacos in the position, needing to pull out a 3K. Finds the first two. Dodges the paranoia at a health disadvantage. Oh, I mean, that's a risky TP play. King smoking off the angle where he was. Oh, TP's into that smoke. Tacos. His position is just unknown. King here, really unsure of anything at all, and Tacos pulling out a clutch 3K. Crazy important round from him. Getting the 3K, clutching it up, putting his team at match point. Cougars, such a, you know, that was an, I mean, almost necessary round, evening up the game. That would have been almost a sort of the stake in the heart there of Grayson if they could have pulled off that round, and they were absolutely in position to do so. Tacos just sort of proving that dominance once again, now at 35 kills in this one. 12-10 for Grayson. Ultimates used in that one, so now just Omen ults and a Cypher ult. I mean, if Dripping Wet had been able to live, that Cypher ult would have been really useful for finding that location of Tacos, so I mean, that really is what it came down to, just the small details. Aggressive positioning here from the Cougars. Mongi pushed up all the way towards that B window. Oh, and just a dry peek from both Pawn and Tacos. Leaves Pawn just a little bit low. But in the meantime, teleport sent back the other way, and that's the ultimate. And now, C site, strong site on that. Oh, but man, trade's going both ways, but numbers advantage for the Cougars. Some spray damage done. Spacebar. Paranoia, big here, gets two, but doesn't find Tacos, and that's going to be the important one. Oh, he's flashed up, but they're not able to get that one. Oh, but now they do. Apple finding two with just spam through boxes, and now it's just PogChamp down at the end of C long. Defuse and utility, yeah, I mean, that C's forcing him there. He's slowed up, kind of pulled away. PogChamp, yeah, goes down. Apple 3K. Half had already been stuck, and so that's a safe defuse and a clean round win for the Cougars, putting them at 11-12, and it looks like we might be going into overtime once more. And not a full buy possible here for the Vikings, so or neither team really. Both teams needing to sort of invest into some pistols. So we'll see. Definitely need to see some weapons bought for teammates on the side of the Cougars. We'll see if that happens in time. But in the meantime, defense setups a little slow to come out here. Trip's not quite set up. A stun coming out towards B. Catches a couple, but it's... The play here isn't going to find anything, and actually just a full rush towards B once again. This is going to be a flank-heavy retake. Spike going to be going down. Mongi gets a spray shot. Flash coming out. Full blinds him. So now he's not able to get anything at the meme. Oh, and Bupremi's cross is going to be important here. Definitely for helping trade out. Flash is big, but self-blind's just enough to get cleared out. Pawn finds one on the side entrance. Finds another. Prowler sent out. Tacos clears it, though. Oh, and Bupremi and Tacos each find their own. King with one. Oh, and it's just Tacos now to go into overtime. And the spray, King finds it. We go into overtime with a King 3K and 12-12. Just huge individual plays on both sides of the board. Multiple 3Ks and 4Ks in this game. And just like Bind, Haven is going into overtime. And we're switching sides once again. Tacos already almost at 40 kills. Nearly double that of the next player on his team. and the top frag of the Cougars. Things a little bit more evenly spread out on the Cougar side. And what a close match this is. I mean, both teams truly pulling things out of nowhere consistently. Now it'll come down to which team can have those big plays once again. And it's win by 2 at this point. Cougars looking towards this B site. Going to be doing something similar to what the Vikings just did. Going to be moving quickly into that one, and Spike's going to go down fast. PogChamp only one on site here, and actually is unable to get cleared, and Tacos quickly comes in. Apple finds the trade, but Paranoia catches him. He's low. Oh, and that TP from Rupremi is, yeah, absolutely going to catch Apple. King in an odd spot here. Not in a great spot to help his teammates. Yeah, and Paranoia comes out, but they'll see where that came from. Oh, but gets the diffuser and finds one, finds the third. Oh, and PogChamp just able to get the spray onto King before he gets off of the angle, but that was an insanely close round. I mean, if he was able to do that, PogChamp would have had to try and tap that Spike. He's already on low health.
Switching sides. Match
And an
point.
absolutely impactful clutch from PogChamp in that one. Puts them up 13-12.
Here.
Cougars need to win this one if they want to keep it going. And the Vikings looking to win this one to force it to map 3.
Yes, this should do.
They're looking towards a C site hit here. Mongi gonna be looking to make a play towards A long as he has been. Quick stun and peek, nothing to find. And we'll see if Mongi takes a TP here, and that would help a lot with this defensive hold. The cam gets broken and spotted. Yeah, he's gonna pull that TP. And as Util comes in, it's on Mongi here to do as much as he can, and he actually goes down. The flash was good, but he was caught as well. So now 5v4. Dripping Wet here in the smoke, doing what she can.
Spike planted.
Apple here on the flank. It's gonna run into Tacos, and Tacos finds it, so now it falls down to those final players. King, gets Q, but gets spotted by Bupremi just before it could do anything, and Bupremi on a 3K, down to just Dripping Wet. She has 4 to find, and the Spike to defuse. It's almost impossible.
On my wire. Cage triggered.
Cage popped. It's going to come down to some spam here. Flash forced through, and Tacos runs in and finds Dripping Wet. 14-12 for the Vikings. And after 2 overtime maps, we're going to the 3rd. We have a 40 kill game dropping from Tacos. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. Clearly the MVP of that map wouldn't have been possible without him. And we'll see what impact he has on this next map after we take a break. We'll see you then. Hello and welcome back for the third and final time of the night. This is the NJCAAE Valorant JV Week 1, coming to you from the William G. Rower Center in Cherry Hill. This is Ben Brandreth, casting for Camden County College, up against the Grayson Vikings tonight. Currently 1-1. First map of Bind went the way of the Cougars in a 14-12 overtime. Second map, Haven, went the way of the Vikings in a 14-12 map. And so now we go to the third and final map of Lotus. And we're seeing some things that are slightly different here. Apple this time is going to be on a Vise Sentinel instead of an Initiator. Mongi's actually on Reyna. And Dripping Wet, instead of that Cypher, is going to be on the Killjoys. So slightly odd comp here. Certainly nothing Lotus hasn't seen before, but unique nonetheless. And PogChamp also switching off of Cypher for the Vise. And Ku back to the Raze we saw on map 1 of Binds. Tacos, of course, still on that Yoru, and don't blame him. He's been finding so much value. You know, had a 41 kill map in the previous. Extremely impressive. And, you know, we're looking for similar kind of value out of Mongi, which is what we saw on the first map, which was, you know, able to get that win. It's really a battle between these main duelists, obviously. This time, the double duelist is the same on the side of the Vikings, but I'm seeing a Reyna this time from Mongi instead of the Yoru. A 4-person fight over rubble. That's what it looks like we were starting with, and looks like they'll take the orb and back away. Taco's running off of the angle.
There.
And now it's the aggressive push back the other way. 3 players rotate away in towards B. Gonna start defending that area. And with some smokes here, oh, some spam from Rupremi. It does hit King. Actually, Spacebar finds Apple as well. A slight lurk from Dripping Wet might be very important here. Oh, but Tacos checks it. Dripping Wet goes down, and so now 3v. Oh, never mind. 2v5. Spacebar finding another.
They're not ready.
It's just Pawn and Mongi. Mongi here in a corner does some spam damage, but a flawless pistol going the way of the Vikings. That's an important first round. Once again, defense side winning that pistol, as we've seen all night. One thing that, you know, you want to look for on this map overall is, you know, a little bit of a different play from the defense side of the Vikings, where, I mean, they went 6-6 the first time, 7-5 the second time. On this map, it's a little bit more attacking side with those 3 sites. So, I mean, it's a little bit harder to get those defensive rounds. Obviously, getting the pistol is important. And, you know, having that Yoru TP is still very helpful. But you're going to need Ku to, you know, sort of fight over this rubble area a lot, get value like that, or either mound on the other side. On this attacking side, you're going to definitely need to see Mongi get a lot of value from this Reyna. That is sort of where Reyna thrives. And we know when we switch sides, we'll also need to see Mongi do a little bit of different stuff than he has been, just because he can't TP to the other side to help anymore. Vine's here, gonna catch Mongi. He's gonna have to stand still, but it is just the Vise. And I mean, there are, you know, there's a sheriff in this round. Mongi just gonna peek smoke there though, and Wingman's gonna plant the spike. So actually, spike goes down. Ku spotted by Apple. He's gonna throw the blind towards CT, but actually most of the players that are close by are coming from Waterfall. And now it's a full flood retake. All 5 players gonna be entering onto the site. Rupremi finding the first, Apple going down. Mongi with the sheriff, misses the first shot. Gets the next one though. Tacos goes down, Spacebar and PogChamp though finding their own. Mongi jumped over, but misses the shots. Rupremi getting that. And now just Dripping Wet, who goes down last. Good attempt of a round there on the second from the Cougars, but unable to actually get more than just 1 kill. And realistically, that actually gives an orb over to Tacos, so it's almost better for them than if they just, you know, the Cougars had all just gone down. else, you know, in other ways. But here's a strong bonus, you know, fairly well invested into from the defense. Vikings having good weaponry there. And the attacking side, it's you know, their first rifle round against those slightly weaker weapons. And this will be a really important one to win. Paranoia instantly comes out and sees nade play towards Rebel. Mongi and Apple here watching it. Ooh, but Mongi just instantly goes down to a headshot from the Guardian. King does find PogChamp on the C site, and actually that's all of the Vice utility down. Oh, but Bupremi just Spectre's down. Dripping Wet was trying to, I think, set off that Vice wall there in B, but Taco's finding Apple on an aggressive push towards spawn, and now just 2 players left. They're not sure where to go. I mean, I think there, like, the best thing you could have done is after getting that Vise down on the C site is just trying to call us, you know, a swift, you know, attack towards that C site. That utility is down. King, though, finding Tacos here is actually going to be really big. If they can prevent getting caught from spacebar, they can get that spike down. There's a lot more opportunity. Actually, they're just going to send in Wingman and play back a bit. King hears the footsteps, and Pawn actually finds spacebar peeking out. Bupremi is the next one, the chopping block. And King is a really important player here. He is the one that has that sightline onto the spike. Oh, but now Pawn takes a lot of damage, but they don't clear King. And now it's a King 1v1 with Ku. He sends the TP. Nade clears out that old spot. Oh, but as it expands and does its final burst, King goes down. He's just on too low of an HP level. And the bonus goes the way of the Vikings. That's the first time this game that the bonus has gone the same way as the team who won the pistol, and this is a really strong start for the side of the Vikings. A mixed buy going to be able to come out from the attackers, but nothing more than that, and not the best start. When I was talking to this team earlier, I mean, Bind and Haven were 2 of the maps that they said that they liked, and they wanted Ascent as one of their other choices, but it seems like we came here to Lotus instead as the decider, which means that, you know, Ascent was banned by that other team, you know, Grayson, so Lotus is not one of the preferred maps of the Cougars, and you know, we might be able to, you know, be seeing why here. They absolutely had their chances to close out Haven. Mongi going down to Tacos. Apple does find a trade onto Bupremi, but it might not mean much in the long run. Still, the weapons are not in their favor. PogChamp does just take a little peek. The shot doesn't hit. Things just slow down here for a tiny bit. 45 seconds into the round so far. Cougars do have mounds, but not much else. They really can't rotate away here without using a lot of time. So their options really are just C or B. Now in the meantime, we do see King sending a lurking player all the way towards Rubble on the other side of the map.
Somebody's there.
Dizzy comes out. A flash, though. Leads to Pawn going down. But Dripping Wet did find Q in the meantime. So 2 players are right there, but the spike is in the hands of PogChamp. They need to get this, and fast. 20 seconds left. But Tacos is just there to spot them, and now it just comes down to King, who was on that flank, and he won't have the time to do anything. He's just going to have his Vandal and take it into the next. But 4 rounds to 0 now on the board for the Vikings. Once again, a strong start for them. And I wouldn't be entirely surprised if we saw a timeout here somewhat soon. And yep, we're seeing it right now. I suspected as soon as we saw King stop moving that this is what we were going to see. I mean, there's quite a few things to adjust here on the attacking side. You're not getting, I mean, you're getting utility out on Mound and Rebel fights, but then they're not really able to get much space out of it, and they're just losing 1v1, 1v1s on those angles. It's just putting them in a number disadvantage that they can't really do anything afterwards. And I mean, already you're seeing the ultimate up for Tacos and for Spacebar, so you know, rounds there are likely, you know, at least that use those ultimates are going to be in the favor of the Vikings. They're already up 4 on this half on a generally attacking sided map, so it's not looking fantastic so far. I think one thing that is in the favor of the Cougars is that Ku, once he has gotten the ultimate online, has not been using it much, so, and Ku doesn't have it yet, but, you know, they might not have to worry about a showstopper for a bit, even if it does come online. But, I mean, that's just a small piece of the pie here. You can see pings coming out towards the C site. They have ping and spawn, waterfall, and past mound. And actually here, you can see PogChamp puts down the Vice utility, but then just goes towards B. Looks like Grayson was expecting an A push, and really, it's just a fast C hit. And there's no one home. Wingman coming in to plant the spike. We'll see if there's any sort of attempt to deny that. There is not, and actually, I mean, we have ultimate for the post plant. Oh, and 2 swings into waterfall, find kills. Mongi finds one coming from CT as well, so right now, oh, his pawn finds Bupremi. Now it's just a 5v1, and Tacos here, I think is gonna, actually, will he go for it? He will. Flashed, and Mongi finds that one. A flawless round coming in after the timeout, and that's super important for the Cougars to get back into this game. I mean, you can see that call there. Coach Fallout on the side of the Cougars clearly had a good game plan there. Read something about the setup of PogChamp over on that C site and just said, hey, team, you know, hit that fast, overwhelm that solo player. I mean, and the player wasn't even there that round. But I think even if PogChamp was, they would have absolutely found success there. But maybe not a flawless. However, this time, looks like a B site hit. Oh, and PogChamp is taking an aggressive look. It goes down, actually, as Dripping Wet finds Bupremi on the A site. And Ku decides to chase that spot as well, and Apple finds him. A little bit of a missed flash there from Apple, recalls it. Mongi here near door is actually going to just watch for anyone coming in. Wingman going to be retrieved. This is really going to be coming down to Tacos coming from heaven. Finds the first. Mongi finds Spacebar with Tacos now in a 1v2. We've seen him do this before. Flash goes out and gets Mongi. Tacos gets 3, but Pawn able to clean it up, making it a team ace for the Cougars. Valiant attempt from Tacos, but not quite enough in this one. And now it's almost every ult across the board available now. Well, we'll see if we get any kind of aggressive play out of this one. I mean, Thrash is a great entry tool. And space clearing ultimate. So Pawn, definitely a high value ult there. Looking at Vice utility coming down on the B site, and it looks like it's going to be Tacos looking towards C. With Waterfall being held by PogChamp.
Here.
A Mound Lurk inserted. Dripping Wet is flash here,
There.
but you know, causing enough potential
There.
information that there's no full rotates yet. TP sent out. Oh, some spam coming through, and there's a chance there for some kills to go through for Bupremi, but it's not found, and they're gonna have to clear Bupremi out of tree here, and they know that. Bupremi goes down as a double swing happens. Wingman gonna be planting the spike. Tacos here coming from spawn is the one to watch. Thorns though popped, and that leaves Tacos sort of stuck there for the moment. In the meantime, trades coming through. A 4v2. Tacos TPing back up to heaven. No flank here at the moment. It's just going to be purely coming from spawn. PogChamp onto Pawn here is going to be the big one. Ooh, PogChamp finds that one. So now gives a little bit more space to the defenders. King's angle going to be really important. Yes, finds PogChamp. And now that leaves Tacos in a 1v3 that Mongi makes impossible. 4-3 now. That timeout call coming from Fallout, giving the Cougars 3 rounds in a row, and we're seeing one called from the other side. I mean, that adjustment to play quickly from the Cougars is absolutely catching the Vikings off guard. Actually, and notably in that round, none of the ultimates were used, despite almost every single one being available. So after this timeout, what I would expect is some sort of set ult play from both sides, really. I mean, there's a lot of things you could see with this. Either a mound play or a rubble fight with the showstopper from the Vikings. I mean, that's a somewhat standard procedure. You can also generally see B-site takes with that lockdown, after that spike's planted. Or even, just to get the site. Steel Gardens on both sides, great for retake or great for site take. So we'll see how those play out. And of course, the Reyna ultimate, a great tool. 1v1 ability goes way up when you pop that. Actually, yeah, defensive pings coming out towards a rubble. Absolutely looks like we're going to see something there from the defense, but at the same time, Cougars not looking that way. A little bit of fidgeting from Pawn, just having fun. It is a game after all. They should be having fun. 4-3 is the score as we go into this 8th round, and it sounds like another fast play. It seems like the Cougars have the read that they have Mound for free, and no Vice utility this time, and the Killjoy ultimate is coming out. That lockdown going to secure the entirety of the C site for the Cougars. Mongi ult popped, goes into spawn, finds the first. Coup down. Showstopper not available for the retake. Now it's going to go towards Waterfall to help out King. King swings in first. Mongi, though, gets the trade. Dismisses out. Oh, but goes into Taco's sight lines, who finds the kill with the stinger.
Someone's there.
3v3. Spike has been ticking. Apple finds Bupremi. Wingman sent in. Just sort of help reveal locations. Spacebar down from Pawn. Now, once again, Taco's in a 1v3. Sends the flash in, and this time can't find anything off of it. And Cougars have evened things up from 4 down to now tied 4-4. And 2 ultimates used, the lockdown and the Reyna ult, but that still leaves them with some nice tools, and the defense unable to find an opportunity to use any of theirs. And only 4 rounds left in this half here, and I mean, some of those ultimates have been up for a while. They've been losing time to use those. I think that Fade ultimate has been up for quite a few rounds. So when you think about the ability of building up ultimates, at this point you're really only going to have the 1.5. And Mongi with a kill like that and going down is definitely making it possible that he'll get another. Trades going both ways, and it's the 3v3. Haunt lets the Vikings know that there are still people in the area, and rotates have come over. Spacebar here. He just gets tagged down and does damage done. Tacos finds Apple, and Pawn is stuck in a corner here. We'll see what happens. Oof, does some damage, but not quite enough to find a kill. Both these players are just so low. Really, any amount of spam here. And Steel Garden, that'll seal the deal. There's no weapons here. Unless you get a ridiculous pistol headshot. Yeah, no. PogChamp finding that one onto Pawn, sealing the round, but ultimate finally coming out on that defense side. Still, though, as I mentioned before, I mean, there's only gonna be one of each of these ultimates on the defense side this half, whereas Mongi and Dripping Wet too still have an opportunity to build up one more for either the last round of the half. 5-4 in favor of the Vikings on this defense, but things have been made much more even.
Cutting through.
Vice utility this time is put on the C site, and Taco's just taking an aggressive swing in a mound and sees the herd stomping towards him. Backs up. Thrash finally coming out. Forces Tacos to TP away. Thrash isn't going to see anything, but does clear the site, and that is going to be recoverable for a post plant as well. Mongi opens the door and swings in towards B, and they're going to pivot to a B take. I'm surprised here, because if they actually went for that C site, they would have the Thrash again. But kill goes down for the Vikings, and now it's a 5v4, and his king goes down as well. I mean, I'm really surprised here. They cleared out the C site with that thrash, but I think they were just afraid of a fast retake maybe, and they were, you know, that fade ult and you know, showstopper combo. But they've rotated over towards A, and there is space here, but they've already lost 2 players. Apple opens the door, goes in the tree, but Magi goes down, and now a 2v5. That's going to be, you know, almost impossible. I'm really, you know, sort of surprised with the decision making here. I mean, Spike does get planted, but an Apple finds 1, but it's a 4v1 for Pawn. He's already on low health. Finds the first. Does some spam damage, but not enough. And spacebar gets the defuse, putting the Vikings at 6, leaving the Cougars at 4. 2 rounds left in this half for the Cougars to try and even it out once again. And still 4 ultimates available on that defense side, still not being used, but obviously winning these last 2 rounds despite only using 1 of them. And that's definitely, you know, value, but with two rounds left, like I said, I mentioned before, Ku hasn't, you know, been using these ultimates as frequently as you would generally see in some, you know, high-level pro play. You know, often feed showstoppers. I mean, instant kill capability is, you know, great, especially with a blast radius. A quick paranoia sees and nade play towards Rubble. Doesn't find anything. It's just gonna be a fast B hit from the Cougars. Vice wall tripped, and actually this is gonna stall that hit entirely. This could give opportunity here for a flank or potentially even a door opening, but no, just time allows that wall to fade. Steel Garden used, but doesn't really catch anyone, but it does give them the B site. Apple goes down, but King finds 1. Tacos does find Pawn as well. I mean, Dripping Wet here at Rubble goes down to Bupremi, and that's going to be an unfortunate one. TP play to sort of give a pinch opportunity, but flash into that smoke from Tacos is great to, you know, prevent Mangi from entering the site. King swings in, prevents the defuse from coming in at that moment, but Mangi 1v3 is not going to have an opportunity to find this one. Just going to run away, save that gun for the last round of the half. 7 up over the 4 of the Cougars. Grayson Vikings in the lead as you go into the last round of half 1. And I said it before, defensive sided map really overall. Or sorry, attacking sided map overall. 3 sites to hit. A lot of options for the attackers, and then, you know, a lot of space to rotate through if you're the defense, but holds have been fairly good, and retakes have been as well, so being in the lead on this defense half is strong and important. Tacos fighting over Mound here, and they seem to have realized that they can't just give the space up for free. Orb will get grabbed, though. And perhaps with the plant and a kill, Thrash could get back up. Dripping Wet versus Bupremi here is going to be a big one. Dripping Wet is inserted into an odd angle. Bupremi clear it. Oh, but Dripping Wet, well, the timing. Will they see each other? It's odd, but Bupremi ends up finding that kill. And in the meantime, there's no space taken or anything off of it, and Bupremi actually finds Mangi as well, who swung onto that angle. Tacos ults and goes into attacking spawn, and now, like, there's really just not much space for the attackers to move. Ku finds King in the middle, and it's now a 2v5. Space limited for these attackers, and they're playing individually here. Just the opportunities are low. Apple does find the first.
Left.
And actually, Apple finds another, and Pawn finds one of his own. Bupremi here needs to get watched, but will he know? No, he won't. Bupremi 3k.
Spike down.
I mean, if that kill was found, that was absolutely an opportunity, but this leaves it just to Apple here.
Shadows traveling. Here.
Tacos knows where the player
10
is.
seconds
Footsteps
left.
heard clearly. And Tacos cleans it up. 8-4 for the Vikings. Grayson having a strong defensive half, putting them
Switching
up
sides.
8-4. Tacos at the top of the scoreboard, as we've been seeing through all of the maps. King and Mangi sharing that top spot on the other side, which is standard as well. And we're going to need to see a strong defense here. I mean, if I if I had to say, I mean, Killjoy, you know, they're playing a double Sentinel comp on the side of Camden County, and I mean, that certainly gives you a bit of an advantage on defense, but that Reyna is definitely not as valuable on the defense as Yoru is. And perhaps some of that missing initiator util was part of the issue on some of those attack rounds. Dizzy sent up to look at Mound, but nothing happened quick enough for that to see anything. Dizzy recovered.
They're not ready.
Orb grabbed. And a Paranoia sent in, and this is a full C hit. Thorns delay for a moment. And actually, Apple finds the first, but the other player's flooding in. Right click's not connecting from Apple. Rotates are here for the most part, but some players have taken a long way around. Taco's finding a nice headshot on Namangi, who was just at a disadvantage there based on the wall in between them.
Spike planted.
Head spotted from Pawn, unable to find that. I mean, I think like, oh, King finding Tacos, but and another as well. I mean, this flank is proving impactful. I feel like though it would have been better if they had just played together, but still, King third on the round, reload, but missing. Ku unable to find that, giving King a 4K in the round.
Thank you.
And that's a pistol one once again by the defensive side, 8-5. Cougars winning that one, and that's going to be very important to try and bring them back in this game. I mean, what a 4K. Huge headshots, clean play from King. I mean, I was a little hesitant to sort of give, you know, credit to that play about, you know, going on the flank there, just because I think if they had played quickly and, you know, gotten back together on that retake, you know, faster, that they would have had a, you know, better opportunity at that. But King proving me wrong, finding 4 and making it easy in this next round. Though, even though I say that, they did lose the second round in the previous map, and that certainly mattered. Looks like it's gonna be a fast B hit. Flash TP play in. King in that smoke watches it. Spacebar does find Spam back, and a Spectre picked up for Tacos. Ku finding his own, and once again, this is dangerous for the defense. Cougars, you can't afford to lose the second round. Dripping Wet finds Ku, and that's a good start. Spectre handed over to the healthier player. Tacos, having gotten that gun from King, just gets value, and once again, second round going the way of the side that lost the pistol, and that is not good for the Cougars. 9-5 now for Grayson and the Vikings, and I mean, what can you say? That's a round that you needed to win if you wanted to get back in this on the defense side. That one should be free almost every time. I mean, just the aggressive play caught Camden County off guard, and now at a disadvantage here. Really light buy, 2 sheriffs, a shorty, versus really strong weapons on the other side.
Here.
Haunt coming out. Doesn't see anything, but I mean, there are players here in tree. They're gonna have to clear that, and if they don't, I mean, there's gonna be hell to pay. Oh, Mangi finds one, but Tacos just, I mean, with the rifle, gets value. Fake TP, 2 bullets left in the sheriff for Mangi, and that might not be enough here. I mean, you might need the whole chamber. Plant comes in, and actually Apple finds another. Mangi, another one as well, and this is a 3v2, and they're actually gonna get half here. Paranoia comes out. Will they stick this? Mangi able to stick it, and they win that round back, and that's back-to-back thrifties. And Apple just grabbing a Vandal in that round and running away. And they sneak a win out in a round that they should not have had. I mean, the confidence there to stick that is insane from Mangi. I mean, even through the paranoia as well, just had to have the confidence. And then Apple was sort of running away the whole time too. There was, if Mangi went down, I mean, that round would have been almost impossible to get back. And now that, I mean, the consequence of losing that previous is less. But I mean, there's still a full kit of weapons in this one, and I mean, this is the one you need to win now if you're the Cougars. If you want to get this back, Mangi watching Rubble does some damage to Ku, but Haunt spots him, so he's gonna have to back up a tiny bit. There's so much utility on this A site. I mean, Vice and Killjoy, and this is where the hit's going. It might be
Face your fear.
a good advantage here, but Fatal coming out from the attacking, and Dripping Wet is tagged entirely. Paranoia, though, is good. Finds Ku, but King was blinded at the same time and just wasn't able to get any value out of that. Mangi finds the first, and Reyna finding value here. Nade gonna tag him up a bit, but not find the kill. Trade's going both ways, but at the end, it's just Apple in a 1v3. And this is gonna be difficult. There's Tacos here. Yeah, just coming from that heaven spot. Is gonna find that one, bring the Vikings to 10. Cougars still at 6. Back and forth game here, but I mean, with that round win, the bye is back to light for the Cougars. And a full kit of rifles once again for the Vikings. Ultimate use, that Fade ultimate, I mean, you know, did win the round really for them because King was unable to really make any sort of play off of his paranoia. But we're going to see a timeout here coming from Fallout. Camden County's coach here had a lot of impact when he called that timeout in the first half. Led to 4 attacking round wins in a row. Now we're going to see if he can do the same on the defense. Reyna and Omen Ultimate aren't the most important ones, you know, overall. The low value ultimates that sort of have more individual impact than, you know, team impact, but certainly can win you rounds if they're played correctly. And if you look at this map already, I mean, we already have the Gecko over in C, I mean, and Killjoy setting up in A, but Apple doesn't have any Vice utilities set up yet, from the look of things. So we'll see how this looks after this timeout is over. Ku does have that Showstopper up, but once again, never ended up using that one in the previous half, so definitely going to want to find a time to use this to try and seal out a round in some way, give them a numbers advantage at some point, if that is possible. Yeah, Vice late going to be placing a Thorns down on the C site. Apple just, you know, end of also getting a flash there as well. A smoked off from King, and looking at a 2-2-1 default generally here. Of course, Taco is able to TP and help if need be. No TP up at the moment, but certainly can throw one at any point. Might send this through a door, perhaps. Dizzy from Pawn doesn't spot anything at the moment. There are players there. Oof. Bupremi on the other side going down is actually really important. I mean, that is the smokes gone for the attacking side. No, there's no smoking off heaven angles or, you know, those site entrances, but as King goes down, the same is to be said for Camden County. Pawn swings the angle and finds Ku. I mean, the Tacos was probably the more important one to find there, and actually gonna pop the ult off of the back of that.
Time to jump.
And Tacos is able to note that runaway path, but Sheer gonna be triggered by Dripping Wet on that flank. And it is being watched, of course, because of that information. This fight is gonna be important. Yeah, Dripping Wet goes down to Tacos, and now it's a 2v3. Only one player on site, but this plant spot is absolutely defensible from a little bit away. And you can spam through the wall there if you're lucky. So, you know, from that mound spot. Retake here, 2 players coming in. Haunt actually finding value in that. Gonna make things hard. Apple finds the first, but PogChamp getting the last 2, putting the Vikings at 11, Cougars at 6. And obviously that was a force buy attempt. I mean, there was a Bulldog in that round. And it looks like they're just going to try and force again. I mean, this is honestly not a bad idea at all. I mean, this is a round you need to win. If you don't invest in this round, I mean, you have, you know, guns for the next one, but then it's at a point now where you kind of need to invest into every round if you want to try and save this map. 2 ultimates still available for the Cougars, those same ones that were available 2 rounds prior. Apple pushing up aggressive on mounds with the Bulldog. His utility coming out, is going towards the B site. King playing close with the Spectre, really trying to find value from that weapon. Just checking that clone to make sure it is a clone and not actually Taco's trying to do a trick play. Ooh. Apple here getting himself into a tight angle. Will they check this? Oh, they do, but Apple still finds 2, and those are insanely impactful kills. Still Garden built up and allows rotates to come through. Mongi pops the Empress. Oh, gets hit by the Paranoia, so he's actually going to blind back in return. Damage was done, though, and Mongi goes down. 3v3. Only a Sheriff on Pawn, and that's going to make things more difficult. That Seize makes things hard. Wingman and Dizzy thrown out in panic. Pawn does some damage, but not quite enough. Steel Garden was used. But, oh, spacebar finding King here is going to make it really hard on Dripping Wet. It's going to have to clear all 3 players. Finds the first, but spacebar swinging, and then PogChamp from the top. Yeah, PogChamp finding 3 with just some wall spam, and that puts them at 12. Vikings at match point. Loss bonus is here for the Cougars, so I mean they're going to be able to get as good of a buy as they can. 4 ultimates available now. I mean they're going to need to use each and every one in these upcoming rounds if they want to try and get it to a 3rd and final overtime.
Turn out.
This one will be difficult.
Placing swarm grenade. Bring them down.
Pawn sent towards B. Pawn's Wingman once again. Sorry, Pawn's a little guy. I can't remember his name right now for some reason. He's checking Mount. Doesn't spot anything. Dizzy. Does reclaim the Dizzy though.
Not ready yet.
Harper is instantly destroyed, and Tacos finds Dripping Wet on a just nasty peek towards B Heaven.
Thorns activated.
Steel Garden gonna be used here, and that's gonna halt the attempt at a C exec. Razalt popped and shot, finding no value. Oh, but as Apple peeks an angle, goes down. Mongi and King though each finding 1. Mongi another, and Pawn.
1 enemy remaining.
It's a 1v1.
Spike down. C.
Spike is down.
Grenade.
Nade going over towards Waterfall. Wingman going out here, sort of gonna reveal where this player is. And Pawn is gonna rotate just a tiny bit. Ku not
30 seconds
aware
left.
of this. It's just gonna come down to timing, and Ku finishing it up with a 3K over Pawn in a close 2-1 best of 3. The Vikings win it on Lotus 13-6. A really close game from both sides. I mean, the first 2 maps going into overtime. The main thing, Tacos dropping 40 on map 2 of Haven. I mean, that's really going to be where the Cougars lost that series. They absolutely had a chance to close that out. Bind and Haven being their, favored maps. Lotus, a map that clearly was left as something that Grayson is comfortable with. At the end of this one, Taco's obviously top fragging once again, 24-2 KDA. Overall, really competitive series and a close one from both of these teams. Grayson Vikings now 1-0 in their season. The Cougars an 0-1, but round differential is not that bad. I mean, they certainly put up a really good effort in this one. All right, from us here at the William G. Rower Center in Cherry Hill, this has been Benjamin Brandreth, casting for Camden County College. Thank you to our production team, and thank you to everyone watching. And we will see you next time.